All right, guys, welcome to the Give It Podcast. Podcast for blurs, for nerds. If you have a fandom, you are most certainly welcome here. Of course, I'm most Black Spartan. Of course, my partner, your left, your right, your screen is flipped. Decepticon loyalist. I never thought I'd put those two words together. What do you have today, sir?
Boosted with juice, but still no caboose. Joe Tonello.
And together, along with my son Obi, we are the Give It Podcast. Much like the WWE old guys, this is definitely more of a young adult show. Although we don't cuss, we do use choice language. At the same time, there may be things that might be shown that might be too intense for younger viewers. Aside from that, due discretion is advised.
This can't be a young adult show.
Huh?
This can't be a young adult show. I am not a handsome enough Asian man for that.
Well, we're kind of like we're kind of like Toonami for seasoned people.
They don't make any sense either. They just break the rules so they can make another movie.
That is also true. Besides that, guys, welcome. And I gotta give a shout out to my co-host Joe, who has been holding the show down in my absence. As I said before, guys, I did get married, so definitely thank everybody that wish me well. I appreciate that so much, and it's great to be back. Aside from that, there is some news and some trailers we do need to get into first. The first one is basically a trailer called Silent Night. If you ever want to imagine Joel Kidman, basically John Wick, if John Wick didn't talk, this is pretty much for you. Check it out. And make that a little bit bigger. There we go.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
All units, please respond.
Is it just me, or just holiday shows just getting holiday movies and shows are just getting just a wee bit more action? But then again, Die Hard is a Christmas movie. But that guy is basically Silent Night with Joel Kidman. Again, it's gonna be one of those shows. It's gonna be one of those movies, guys. And that also comes out December 1st, by the way. But again, if you ever want to see John Wick that basically he doesn't say anything, but still apparently murks people at Christmas, this is for you. Joe, any thoughts on Silent Night?
So I can't count this as a John Woo movie yet.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see a giant flock of doves at any point in that trailer.
I think we're probably gonna see at the end of that movie.
Also, this is just The Punisher, but the wife lived.
Yeah, I can see that. I can see that. But yeah, December 1st is when that movie's coming out, so definitely looking forward to that. Aside from that, Joe, just to switch gears for a second, because he has gotten to play Street Fighter 6, and there was a certain main that he was interested in that he got to experience, Aki, which was the creepiest Street Fighter character I've ever seen. But before Joe gives his impression, just for a fresh reminder, here's what she does.
Time to work, time to work. When inhaled, coriandin blocks the gamma-aminobutyric acid receptors in the central nervous system, causing spasmodic muscle contractions.
Master, it's a work of art! It's perfect!
What to do with you now? So, shall we put him out of his misery? Time for some experimentation. I bet poison would work wonders on you. I wouldn't move if I were you. Poison's on the menu. I have you. My own death. Let's do now. Here, there, then here, and here. My magnum opus! Is my poison kicking in?
Street Fighter 6.
Okay, Joe, I got one question. That last move, was that not kind of a rip-off of Fist of the North Star?
No, because she's not hitting all the points of his chi or chakra or whatever Fist of the North Star used to Omairo wa Shindaru. She's just poisoning vital points of the body.
I was kind of looking at that for a second. I was like, wait, did she just do? I was like, did she just do Fist of the North Star just now? But then again, Joe, you've had a chance to play. You had a chance to play with Aki. What did you think?
She will definitely be my secondary character. She is exactly what Fong should have been. She most definitely right now has the best fireball in the game. Like, she legitimately has the best fireball. It comes out at a very slow rate. You can walk behind it. You can drive cancel dash behind it. You can follow it up. Just about anything. Her biggest strength is she has a lot of combo routes. Like, a lot of combo routes. You do have the gimmick where her downside is you to maximize damage. You got to make sure they stay poisoned. You got to be able to do the poison explosion as much as possible. Her drawback is she does not have a solid anti-air. She has two off of. She has a 45-degree and a straight horizontal attack. but it's one of those you either catch them start jump or right as they're coming on top of you. There's no like real solid interception. She also doesn't have an traditional anti-air. Her anti-air is not down heavy kick, it's down heavy punch. Her other upside is she has a lot of moves that are safe, like a lot of moves.
So let me ask this: is the poison kind of like it's like a two-sided, it's like a double-sided blade? Like you have to use that in order to make the combos work?
No, it's not hard to get people poisoned. You can put down puddles. One of her command combos, it just poisons. Like getting people poisoned is not the issue.
Okay.
With her, like you very easily can get people poisoned. It's just for her to do the maximum amount of damage, you just need them poisoned. It's not the how am I going to poison them? It's what route am I taking to poison them?
Gotcha.
And like I said, she's got a lot of safe stuff, like a lot of safe stuff. The biggest issue I have with her is she has so many moves. She has stuff off quarter circle forward. She has stuff off quarter circle back, all different for punches and kicks. Her fireball actually has a follow-up if you can get it at close range to do poison explosion. Even her level 2 super is distance dictated depending on what punch button you use.
Well, she definitely has some volatile qualities. This is with the how the whole movement and evades are. It's like they kind of reminds me of Baldo from Soul Calibur.
I mean, she makes playing against turtle characters a lot more easy because she has a few command grabs on knowing what you're doing. But you know, Ken is still going to be Ken. So
yeah. Well,
I'm not saying anybody's broken in the game. I don't think anybody needs nerfs. I don't think anybody needs buffs. If you think that still now, you still don't understand the core concept of this game. I've been watching videos as of late, and people are still not understanding with like Zangief. You don't care about Zangief's drive gauge.
Yeah.
You care about his super meter. Because all I do is see people do these massive carry combos, not finish Geef, get him in the corner, and he just wake up critical arts you and wins the game. It's like, why
Well, then they say Zangief is kind of OP as far as the fact that if you can do the super move, you pretty much got the match one.
Oh, yeah, no, you see, like, people at, like, maybe 1/3 of their life, and they try to do a full corner carry combo to kill Zangief. They don't get it. They try to stay on him to get Oki and continue pressure, and then he just wakes up critical art. But like that's just the way I've been looking at it. Like Aki has a lot of tools, a lot of combo routes. Like she has some of the most crazy damage potential combo routes I've seen the character in a while. It's just one of those you just really got to play really smart, really got to nail her stuff down. It's she seems to me of know your 3 to 5 hit combos more than the let's drive cancel 3 times in a combo and keep going.
Gotcha.
It's the medium punch into fireball into poison blossom. Great. Her command jumping attack that does the downward slashes into down crouch, upward poison thing to get the most damage out of her. She can do big long combos, but I feel like you just need to keep them poisoned and do small increments, and then it just adds up over time. Because sadly, her poison doesn't mess with the drive gauge. It messes with just the health bar, which is fine. But like this is what Fang should have been. Also, she's not a charge character, thank God.
That thing would be OP. But cool. Creepy as she is, I guess I give her a shot once I get a chance to play. It's spider qualities, man. Freak me out. But other impressions, I know you got a Cyberpunk impression, but before we do get to Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty, as Joe has already coined a phrase for it, we would be remiss if we didn't actually show the next trailer, which is basically the last trailer for Marvel Spider-Man 2. Again, this league's going to be great. Check it out.
don't know if I'm strong enough to save it.
Do I have what it takes to protect the people I love? You never gave up.
Never back down.
Neither will I. This is my power.
My responsibility. I am Spider-Man.
Just for that one shot. Hang on a second. If nothing is the moneymaker, hang on. If nothing is the moneymaker, it is basically that shot. If I could just, I won't get all the way, but that shot alone, if that is not money, I don't know what is. Of course, that is Marvel Spider-Man 2, again, where you'll get to play as Peter or as Miles. I am curious to see what they're going to do with Venom. We know that at some point, Peter will don the symbiote, will be in the black suit. We know that's coming, but I have theories on how they're bringing Venom in. Will it be Brock? Will it be his son? I'm curious. But Joe, you're shaking your head already. What you got?
No, they've already confirmed Brock's not in the game.
Okay, so they did confirm it. So all right, well there goes one theory out the window.
It kind of makes me laugh that so many people aren't putting two and two together. Mm-hmm. And I will say this: we will not spoil this, but the character that is in Venom in this game has been Venom before in an animated series.
Oh, that's saying a lot. That's narrowing it down to two possibilities. Then, now that I think about it.
I've already been told shush on Twitter by them, which is hilarious.
You see, this is, we want attention, Joe, just not that way. Just not that way.
No, and it's not like they blocked me like the Flash thing where I just like, so why are you using that suit? And they just like, this comment has been removed. I just Twittered, just insomnia. It's just like, shh. They literally just like, shush. No, the Tokusatsu suit, I asked, it's like, guys, does this have like personalized finishers for these new suits? Because Miles is just did a giant electric down chop, kind of similar to Kamen Rider Amazon, and this is Miles in the Tokusatsu suit, and I just kind of, we're blinking, we're back.
Yeah, you're still up.
So with the Miles Tokusatsu suit, I asked like, so is this like a Kamen Rider Amazon thing you just did right here? And they're like, shush. It's like good eye, but shush.
I kind of feel like that's gonna come back to haunt us one day. But it's like, oh yeah, you were the guy that pointed out. It's like, nope, not him, not at all. It's like, we like our sponsorship. It wasn't him.
Yes, sir. I'm sorry, sir. No man told me to do it.
But no, it looks like it's going to be awesome. I will find a way to play Spider-Man 2 just because of how great it looks. But yeah, again, if you, I don't know why I have to keep repeating this. If you did get the custom PS5 Spider-Man's console, it amazed me that they have to keep repeating this. The console download is not available until the day of the release. I understand for people that bought the console and thinking you'll be able to play Spider-Man 2 immediately. No, just hold on to your code until said day. Probably a day before you'll get to download it to your system. You just won't be able to play it. But again, sometimes you just gotta read the fine print. But speaking of fine prints, we have to get to Joe's second impression because this is where my jealousy will kick in. Cyberpunk 2077 Phantom Liberty. Before Joe gives his impression, for all those that need a reminder, this is what the trailer's about.
This also has double meaning.
In 2077, how do you win when the deck is stacked against you? You go all in. In Night City, the rules are different. The stakes are higher. One wrong move is all it takes to get burned. If you want to hold the winning hand, You need to become stronger, faster, better. Who you know and who you can trust. That's the ace up your sleeve. The more you have, the more you stand to lose. So go ahead and play. Just don't forget, the game is fixed.
I am a grave in the way, whether 22 or the 3A.
Oh wow, Joe, I apologize. You were saying something before the trailer started. What were you gonna say?
I said this trailer has a double meaning.
The trailer. Oh, how so?
The game is fixed.
Damn, I just caught that. I just caught that. The game is fixed. For all those that have been under a rock, Cyberpunk 2077 when it first came out, it wasn't a stellar release. There were a lot of patches. However, it's been all fixed. It's a great game, great replay value. Phantom Liberty is the DLC that does come out with it. It's been out for quite a while. I have been watching videos of people just having fun with the builds. Joe has gotten the chance to actually play Phantom Liberty. So what do you think about it?
I love it so much.
This
This does answer a very pivotal question that a lot of people have been asking. Is like, what is Idris Elba? Why is Idris Elba not James Bond? If you want Idris Elba to be James Bond, this is the game you need to play, because that's exactly what it is. Because me and him just did the whole Casino Royale skit.
He really did, and even he said it. Even he said, number one, there is some unwritten rules about being James Bond, and Idris Elba does fit the criteria. He has even said himself that, if it's offered to him, great. If not, then he's not broke up about it. But yeah, that trailer alone will sit there and tell you, yeah, this man should be considered for 007.
Solomon Reed is a bad man. He is a bad man.
Oh, continue, sir. Continue.
So the game is now fully fixed. So 2.0 does a lot of stuff. So the first biggest change is you do not play as a pureblood anymore. You get chromed out as much as possible.
Oh, wow.
In this new version. So the reason for that is in prior to 2.0, clothes dictated your armor.
Okay.
And what you're thinking is clothes are just now clothes. Sometimes they'll have passive buffs, but they do not add to your armor. How much you chrome yourself out and what tier of chrome you install on yourself dictates how much armor you get.
Okay.
Also, stuff is now linked to your attributes. So you have to be a certain level in a certain aspect. Like you need to have level 19 a level 19 body to equip that particular cyberware, or you can start making like pure builds of like, all right, well, I'm a wisdom and intelligent. I'm a wisdom and reflex build, or stuff like that, or your net runner thing. And then you got the skill tree. Then you got the relic tree.
Okay.
Guns also work off of certain things. So what I'm running right now is a intellect, and I'm running an intelligence and reflex build, which is basically a netrunner build. I have a higher percentage of doing crits and more effects with smart guns than I do with anything else. So I don't use power guns anymore. Power guns let you ricochet bullets off surfaces to do enhanced damage. I don't deal with tech guns. Tech guns are like electronic weapons that you got to charge up. My stuff is I have a giant overlay, and whatever runs that thing, my bullets will zoom to them. And then the relic tree makes it even better. And then I got the new wire filament weapon, which was in the original game, but now is actually worth a crap in this game because I can load it with a hack. If I fully charge it because of how my loadout is spec'd, I can do quick hacks on one person that will jump to other people. And I chose cripple body, so they're like froze up and glitching out, letting me do finishers which lets me get RAM back so I can do more hacks and do 15% more melee damage if I need to, which if I do, that just means I'm going to charge up and do more cripple body attack.
Nice. So let me ask you this from the storyline point. Is the story engaging as the original your tree, or is it more extreme?
So a little bit more extreme. This actually supposedly takes place in the middle of the grand storyline.
Okay.
However, for me, I've already completed the game. I'm running this on a completed character, so I'm like level 60 already. Look, I do everything in this game. I talk to every person. I have done things.
All I see is one-hit shots, but go ahead.
Oh, no, I have not done one-hit shots. There's build for that, but I'm not doing pistol one-hit. Pistol Corporal Rat one-hit shot Ricochet builds. I don't want to do Ricochet stuff. I like being a net runner. I like being someone who you're going to be on fire. You're going to have cyber psychosis. You can take out half of you guys for me. I'm just going to electrocute you. Okay, pew, 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 pew.
Just go down.
Loot. No, like some of the stuff in here, to quote Ghostbusters, I have seen shit that will make you turn white.
Nice Ghostbuster reference, but go ahead.
Thank you. It is Halloween. We get away with one every so often. No, there's some like straight up weird and somewhat disturbing stuff. My favorite thing I have done thus far, and Johnny Silverhand is in here, and they've kind of softened him a little bit. He's still a gigantic asshole, but he's kind of more chill in this one because this is making Johnny remember his military past. But so far, my favorite thing I've done in this is you got to use a payphone. And he's like, the hell's a payphone? And so when they get to there, the phone's ringing. And because you're born in 2045, you have no idea how this thing works. Yeah. And Johnny's just sitting there going
that's fair.
Background.
The level of petty with that just.
Oh no, he's not petty. He's just hilariously amused because he knows you don't know what it is. He knows you don't know what to do.
Okay.
So he's just leaning on the wall, just go ahead, pick up the receiver.
That is still petty though. It's I understand what you're saying, but that's still a level of you pick up the receiver. You press buttons.
He doesn't even say anything. He's just just doing the little phone hand sign and just put it to your ear. You can do it. Come on.
I just feel the level of petty of that.
Idris Elba's acting is fantastic in this. Keanu Reeves is wonderful in this. Everyone they've casted so far has been great. We essentially are taking on basically a Bond villain, and that's only I feel like I'm only halfway through this because I know there's going to be a turn where I got to fight the government at some point.
Of course. In all futuristic things, you're going to fight the government at some point. We know.
I mean, I take the oath to become an FIA agent, which is the Federal Investigation Agency or something, because this is the new United States of America. So as you're doing it, you're just making Keanu Reeves in the background go, oh, V, why? And as you're doing it, he's behind the president, just going.
Just as he's talking, just wow. But overall,
it's been great. It's been great.
But yeah, overall, I just had to ask your opinion on that one because I need to hurry up and get with the times. Just because I mean, CD Projekt Red never really disappoints us outside of the initial release, but it sounds like they've made up for it and then some more Phantom Liberty. But
yeah, they actually just put out 2.1 yesterday, and that fixed some more physics, more lighting issues, and some stuff with hair on individual characters. So that's even better now.
Nice. Yeah, I'm gonna have to definitely do that. But
just play female V. Just do me a favor. Don't even look at male V. Just make your V female. It just makes the game better.
Okay, I'm taking your word for that. But moving right along, guys, there is some other gaming news that we do have. This was kind of surprising from Ubisoft that they did announce that there will be a Division 3. They did appoint a new series producer for the Tom Clancy series. The Division 3 is basically an online third-person shooter. Definitely was great. I've been a fan of it since the beginning. Kind of curious to see what they're going to go with because they did actually have the Division Heartland, which was a mobile game. It had.
Didn't you have that weird Alien spinoff, or is that a different thing?
Different thing.
Same universe though?
No. Think of it like they try to do mobile. They try to do mobile Call of Duty, but they did it with the Division.
No. I'm talking about that 3-man squad based thing that had like the aliens.
Redfall?
I don't know. It's like Tom Clancy something, and it's like Alien Fireteam Elite, where it's the 3-man squad going through.
Infiltrate. Rainbow Six Infiltration?
Infiltration or Extraction, one of those things?
That's what you're talking about.
Okay.
I think you're talking about Rainbow Six Extraction.
Okay, not Rainbow Six. So it's not Division Extraction.
No. You're thinking Rainbow Six Extraction. Although also a good game, but with Rainbow Sixes, I need something better because Siege was still, again, the top one to me. But anyway, I'm not sure where they're going to go with Division 3. For all those that have been following the story in Division 2, you finally did get the big bad in the Warlords of New York. So I'm not sure if this is another chapter in Division. In Division 3, you're going to have another big bad. Technically, the green virus has kind of been taken care of. But again, we'll just have to wait and see what happens with that. But also, are we really surprised, Joe, about Assassin's Creed Mirage and the fact that, a lot of people are not very happy with the game?
I know it came out. I know it's supposed to be one of the better ones.
I mean,
what is chromatic abrasion? Right.
So it's basically to make it feel okay. For all those that don't know, as they did explain it here, where it says it's a graphical effect implemented to simulate lens distortion to make the gameplay appear as if filmed with a real camera, and therefore it's cinematic. In actual gameplay, it makes the outlines of objects blurred or sometimes shine with bright colors. It sounds like a coding problem.
It sounds like a disease a Cybertronian can catch.
Pretty much. But the reason why I pointed this out is that Assassin's Creed Mirage came out. This was supposed to be a return back to the original games, AC 1 through 3. It doesn't have the same amount of players as Origins, as Odyssey, as I know I'm missing one.
Valhalla.
Valhalla. Thank you. It doesn't have the same amount of players as this, and which Ubisoft is frustrated because a lot of players who did play those big three, saying that Assassin's Creed has gotten away from what made it what it was, that nobody really wanted the full-on adventures. You really wanted to do the historic timelines. So now that Assassin's Creed Mirage is out, it isn't hitting the same way. And here's the thing I point out. Here's the one thing I point out with Assassin's Creed Mirage. Now, granted, I haven't played it yet. I still want to give it a fair shot. This is basically following what's-his-face's storyline. I forgot his name starts with a B, and I forgot it already. But it's basically following his storyline as he becomes an assassin. And they're really going. It kind of has a AC1, AC2 feel to it, from what I've seen. But I can also see the argument that a lot of people who have played Odyssey, who have played Valhalla, who have played Origins, those were different Assassin's Creed games. And I think that Ubisoft really took some risks for those three games, especially with the epic storytelling. But I think that epic storytelling is what players have gotten used to that they won't get to see in Mirage. But Joe, any thoughts on that? Or just that, some people are just being picky, or just your opinion on that?
Honestly, I think some people were being picky. I know some people really loved how big the last three were. I myself thought they were too big because there was not a lot to do between zones other than just walk.
Yeah.
Or in my case, sail poorly because I did not understand the sailing mechanics.
Oh, but Black Flag was so much fun. Black Flag and Odyssey were really fun when it came to ship battles. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I'm not talking about Black Flag. I'm not talking about 4. I'm not talking about 4. I'm talking about like the other last 3.
Oh, the ship battles in Valhalla
I
and
tried
Odyssey.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and yeah, I mean Odyssey was fine because the Greek islands were at least somewhat more populated. But like Valhalla, it's like, why am I sailing what feels like 45 minutes in a boat I can barely steer just to get to my next objective to fight out a camp to then rinse and repeat? Like that game loop just did not catch me at all.
But the shanties in between. That for me, I ain't gonna lie. I sailed for no reason, just for the chanting by itself. But I mean, I can see both sides of it. I can see both sides of Assassin's Creed players both wanting something. I still want to give Mirage a fair shot, just from there, because again, I never really saw a bad Assassin's Creed game. I never have, because each of them have been different in their own kind. But like you said, it just depends on the player. I don't think it's bad, but I think because they gave us this epic storytelling and going back to the originals, it just may not hit well with certain players. But again, I digress. We won't until I actually get my hands on it and actually play it. I'm not going to have an opinion on it either way. What were you going to say, Joe?
Oh, nothing.
Okay. But moving right along, guys, some other news before we get into our reviews of television shows. You guys love streaming services because I know we do. Unfortunately, with of course, I won't say unfortunately. Unfortunately, it's a terrible word. The writer's strike was definitely resolved. Happy for the writers, basically getting more pay, guaranteed number of writers per show. The fact that they are getting streaming, they're getting revenue from streaming and distribution now, and definitely other perks. Definitely want to give them all the love in the world for the writers union, just sticking together and actually getting what Hollywood should have done on day effing one. With SAG, the actors, it is now the actors' turn. We suspect, and this is just a mild speculation, that since the writers have been taken care of, the actors should be next. I would think that, that deal should really be solved, but we're still waiting for the answers on that. But what we have actually seen, guys, is that in response to writers actually getting paid more, well, certain streaming services like Discovery and Netflix have also began to raise their prices. Discovery raising their price from $6.99 to $8.99. Of course, this is the ad-free tier increase. So basically, if you want to watch a show with no ads on Discovery Plus, it is jumping from $7 to $9. The ad light tier will be jumping from $5 to $6. Netflix has already said earlier this week that they'll be discussing about raising their prices. So definitely see that. Amazon Prime has began to raise its prices. So we're seeing a lot of streaming services are all starting to raise their prices, including Disney Plus and Hulu, which again, if you have ad-free services there, your price will increase by $3 after already getting a price hike from $7 back in December 2022. So I have to point this out, and Joe, I have to ask you this. Are we starting to see streaming services just get a little bit too greedy? Or is it just a sign of the times?
So, incidentally, I listened to an interview like yesterday or the day before yesterday, and the writer's strike finished with unparalleled success. One of the people that talked on the interview said, "We got everything we asked for," which is almost always unheard of when a strike comes to a thing. Like, usually something is left off the table. Now, they are getting everything they want. The numbers have to be worked, but they are getting every single demand they asked for. Why is that? Because the studios decided to open their mouths, and we've listened to them all throughout the strike, and made themselves very public, and they have put their foot in their mouth repeatedly to the point where most studios have gone through at least, I believe it was said, 3 public relation firms.
Yeah.
To it. Now, what this means for us is, yes, fantastic for them. However, now streaming is now slowly going back to the old television route, where we got to find a way to make additional revenue to honor our agreement for the writers and soon the actors. So what do we got to do? Well, we're going to put ad commercials back in there, meaning sponsorships pay us to advertise their products. In turn, that revenue will go to our writers and eventually our actors.
Right.
So they're winning technically, and I use this term in a very, very minor sense. I do not mean this in the negative, but there's no other way of putting it. Their winning technically kind of punishes the people that are watching the streaming services, because we want them to win. We want to support them.
Right.
But now, as a result, we have the ad format, or we pay an additional fee, which will keep the ads away. But that additional fee, again, turns around and pays the writers and actors. So the strike puts us, the recipients, at a damned if you do, damned if you don't. Because, again, we want these people paid. We want these writers to feel safe in their jobs, protected and paid for and supported. We want the actors to be supported, be paid, make a livable wage. Because as much as we think, unless you're that very, very high tier of actor that is a household name, you are living from script to script. You are living from job to job. You're living from whatever commercial they put you on.
Yeah.
Like, that is how Hollywood works. Despite what most people think, no one is replaceable. In Hollywood, you are always replaceable. It does not matter if you are the whitest toast. It doesn't matter if you're black, brown, yellow, Asian, Indian. You are replaceable in the Hollywood machine. So if you're not up there, if you are not a Tom Hanks or a Wesley Snipes, or you are not a bankable commodity consistently, you're gone. And you are trying to live paycheck to paycheck just like everybody else in America. So to help them, we have to understand, hey, the bottom line for us is an extra $3 ensures that what we say we support. Right. Hopefully everything of that sentence made sense.
Well, it does, but I looked at it like this way, because they were going to, whatever the decision was going to make, and it's the same way like the other strikes that are going on, especially with the auto workers, that you are correct that these companies are going to sit there and they're like, well, either we can take the hit and have less profits, or we can raise our prices and still maintain profits. And I always sit there and say that was very evil. I mean, for example, for a lot of people that don't understand, for a lot of people like they're not me and Joe's age, we remember when Hulu was free. When Hulu came out with this crazy notion of, you ever watch television shows for free, you don't have to pay for it? Hulu ran for that. Hulu ran with that for 3 years. I think I want to say 2-3 years.
Like Tubi and Pluto is basically old Hulu.
Yeah.
You would get some commercials, but like maybe 2. That's it.
But you'd be able to watch it free. Hulu did the same thing. A lot of people don't remember that. Hulu did the same thing for the longest time, and then they started. Well, we're starting to get a lot of attractions. We're getting a lot of people subscribing, watching for free. I think we can now generate revenue by charging them, and just say we'll start low. We'll start, hey, we'll only charge you $7 a month. $7 a month. We'll charge you to watch. You'll still get you. I mean, you're gonna afford $7 a month, right? Netflix is the same thing, but they did with DVDs. They didn't actually do streaming until their infrastructure was set up for it. And even then, when they say, "Oh, well, you can stream all you want for $8, $8, $9, you can stream all you want, no problem." The problem is that these types of infrastructure payment setups are not designed to last, because they're low prices. And for all those, like I said, for me and Joe's age, we understand this. Low prices get you in the door. When enough people have gotten into the door, it's time to raise their prices. Now, even so, on the other side, if you have multiple subscriptions, it can be a little bit of a pain. I mean, $13 here, $9 there, so far and so forth. If you're like me and your subscription number is over the number of 5, it does get costly. So a lot of people are starting to look and wonder, it's like, is it worth keeping the subscriptions? Just because we really went from the big 3 to now it's like
8, give or take.
Yeah.
I know in my house, I cover Paramount, Disney, and Peacock.
Yeah. I know in our house it's oh God.
And then family takes care of Netflix and Hulu.
So yeah, Amazon, Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus, Disney Discovery, and I'm missing because Hulu does also, because the Hulu we have also has Showtime, Stars, Showtime, Stars, Cinemax, and I'm missing one, but 10 subs off the bat. So I get it to a certain point that people are starting to look, because the price increases and this day and age, everything's going up with your paycheck. You kind of having to start to look at, are we really watching this, or we just keep this around just because of one show? And some folks, which is kind of going to lead into our next story, some folks have started using the One Piece icon for pirates. Let us first say, on behalf of Joe, myself, and Give It Podcast, we do not endorse piracy because piracy is illegal. We do not endorse it. We do not.
However,
we don't.
We all have our own unique laughs, just in case.
Yeah, it's like we don't endorse it. We don't encourage anybody to do it. Piracy and downloads are illegal by U.S. federal code. But again, we understand. we understand. We don't endorse it. But the reason why I bring that up, aside from One Piece, finally, and again, before I go into this next one, One Piece is finally getting the shine it should have gotten. And again, it was something that me and others were talking about, because Luffy will appear at the Thanksgiving Macy's parade. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, that has never happened.
Which Luffy, the actor or a balloon?
Both the actor from the Netflix will be there, as well as the balloon.
Well, I mean, we had Super Blue Goku for a couple years, so I'm not surprised.
Yeah, but we've never, for One Piece to be the one shonen that has really ran the test of time, and people used to clown on One Piece. Oh, it's like, what? You'll never catch up to One Piece. That's a lie. I started watching One Piece from the beginning 3 months ago, and I'm somewhere around 878, if I'm right. So I'm not too far off.
I watch week to week.
Huh?
I watch week to week.
See, I'm determined to catch up.
So here's how popular this is. My mother and my aunt have both watched One Piece, and they were they came to ask me, it's like, how many more crew members do we got?
And that's the thing. It's like, it is amazing to me the exposure it's finally getting, and that folks are starting to climb onto it. But I just thought that was cool that Luffy will finally have a balloon at the Thanksgiving Macy's parade. But the reason why I bring this up, and
I've already had quite weird questions. I've already had weird questions like, is Luffy going to get with the redheaded girl? It's like, no, he's got someone named Boa Hancock. Don't worry about her. She comes later on down the road. It's like, how many more people are we? How many more people are we getting? It's like, well, we're getting a musician, Shepard Pearman, an archaeologist, and a doctor. And I don't think they're going to make it to Jinbei. I think if they're going to do the Netflix route, we're going to get to Mainford, and then this thing's canceled.
Yeah, I can see that. But yeah, Boa Hancock. If that ain't a ride or die for Luffy, I don't know who is.
Oh, I wanted to see who they're going to be casting for Robin.
That's gonna be
Robin's much like Nami. She's very distinctive for a number of reasons. I'm not talking about physical attributes. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about for crazy outfits and her super dry humor.
I didn't say it. I didn't say it. And plus, Shadow's not here for me to clown on about it. But no. Aside from that, though, the reason why we're talking about casting One Piece is because, Well, a certain character we all know and love because she has shown her love for cosplay. She has shown her love for anime, and again, she is a welcome person because we defended her a few months back on because of the Academy Awards and things of that nature, and we defended her because we believe that she did not deserve any slander. But Jamie Lee Curtis, at this point, and I say at this point, is not. I mean, it's all but literally. And again, the reason why we're saying almost at this point is because again, the SAG is still in place. They haven't really got that locked down yet. But the writers for One Piece, the live action on Netflix, have already sat there and said that once the strike is over, that pretty much Jamie Lee Curtis will hopefully appear as Dr. Korea in One Piece on season 2. For all those that don't know who that person is,
Chopper's mom.
Pretty much. So that is going to be interesting because she is. I mean, if you look at Jamie Lee Curtis, all she needs is longer hair, longer gray hair, and it's pretty much her. And I'm not against that casting. Again, the casting is not confirmed because SAG-AFTRA is still in place, and until the actors get their deal, it's still on hold. But they have already sat there and said, showrunner Matt Owens has already sat there and said the team is already writing with her in mind. And I'm not against Jamie Lee Curtis playing this. I think she would be freaking perfect. What were you going to say, Joe?
Oh, no, just coughing.
I think she's just going to be freaking perfect. She has already sat there and said that she would be honored. Although a lot of fans are really lobbying for her to get this part, but it looks like it's all said and done. It's just waiting for the SAG-AFTRA deal to go through. But again, I'm not against it. As I said before on this podcast with Netflix, One Piece, they got the adaptation right. I mean, it wasn't heavy, it wasn't light. You were able to give backstories on almost everybody. It made Usopp really more lovable, in my opinion, on the Netflix adaptation than it does in the actual anime. But I love for what they did in 8 episodes. I cannot wait for season 2. Like I said, I hope they get this actors deal out because I want to see who else they may come up with casting. But I'm not against Jamie Lee Curtis playing the Doc on this one. But Joe, any thoughts on that?
I mean, I'm down for it. I mean, it's just good casting. I also heard that the actor that plays Zoro said he will not be casting himself. He'll be turning down any other roles that want to attempt to cast him in any other anime adaptations. He is solely Zoro and nothing but.
And the fact of who his father is, that's why I was like, that man is royalty. That's what I was tripping off. They said, do you know who that man's father is? I was like, yes, I do. And I'm jealous. It's like, when it's like, oh, well, he was the same guy. I said, oh, he was the guy in Kill Bill. I said, okay, first off, he's more than just the guy in Kill Bill.
Protect your family jewels around that man. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Pretty much. But that man's cinematic history speaks for itself if you know the alley to look into. That's all I'm saying. But overall, though, I can't wait to see what happens. But again, we have to wait for the deal to go through. But move right along with other television shows. Good Lord, Picard. Star Trek Picard, especially the final season, if that wasn't a tearjerker, because they did so much in that final season that I have to go back. I go back and still watch it just because it was written that well. But what we didn't know, that Patrick Stewart had recently said in an interview with Time, was that the original ending, and spoiler alert, if you have not seen Picard and not seen the ending, we're about to talk about it. So again, you've been warned. But he sat there and says that the ending that he originally wanted to see, as he explained at the time, was he wanted to see Picard perfectly at ease in the situation, not anxious, not in a frenzy, not depressed. And I think this means that there's a wife in the picture. Patrick Stewart is actually married in real life. But he had sat there and said the writers came up with a lovely scene. It is dusk at Jean-Luc's vineyard. His back is to us as he takes in the view, his dog at his side. Then off screen, you hear a woman's loving voice is heard. Jean-Luc, supper's ready. and ends the scene. And I'm just like, that, I don't get me wrong, the ending to what we had in Picard was great, but to see Picard actually, finding true love, his dog number one, being back in the vineyard and just being content after all said and done, that to me would have probably been a better ending. I couldn't knock it. But they of course I was going to say, well, who would have been the wife? Would have been Beverly Crusher? Would have been Laris? I don't want to know. I really don't. I mean, yes, they flirted. They flirted with Crusher. They also flirted to make it seem like Wesley was Picard's son at one point. But then again, that was always a ongoing gag in the Next Generation. But I would have loved to see that, really. But I mean, I'm not against the ending that we got, but how do you improve upon perfection? That's just my take on that. But Joe, your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, the whole Laris thing kind of fell short because she passed away, didn't she? Suddenly?
Yeah.
So that kind of had to write her off, unfortunately. And they've done so many. They've done a few TNG where, like, it's the flash forward to the future and Beverly and him are married, and even the books continue that storyline. I don't mind one way or the other, honestly. I think the teasing of the fan named Star Trek Legacy series was the better ending, in my opinion.
Okay.
Because we get to see Seven have her own ship with Picard's son. Jack is a thing. That would have been, I want to see that happen. Hopefully that will get announced, because you don't end a series with that kind of a tease and not go, this is a sequel series bait.
Yeah, I mean, that would have been nice, actually, kind of leading to that. But and then again, that could still be down the road. But I mean, it's still a fair point. But to see Jean-Luc actually, be at peace for once, I could be okay with that too. But
that man can never be at peace. The moment he gets a peace, Q just pops back in for no reason.
Even though Q did kind of screw with him a little bit. Q did kind of screw with him in Picard a little bit, though. And to the point to where he was kind of bored. He's like, I'm not interested in you. He was like, you're not interesting anymore. And then he decided to go for Picard's son, which I find interesting. But anyway, but again, still not knocking it. Picard's still a great series on Paramount Plus. Definitely watch it if you hadn't already. Definitely watch Lower Decks. Lower Decks needs all the support it can muster right now. Just because the showrunner believes that they could possibly not get renewed. So I cannot stress this enough. Definitely let the people know, because like I said, a lot of these shows right now are on chopping blocks, and you would think these shows are secure. They really are not. So all the more reason to show support for these shows. We do want them to continue. We definitely don't want them to get the CW treatment. That's all I'm saying.
I thought they already confirmed season 5 was greenlit.
They did anything after season there, but there's not a word I'm looking for here. There's not a guarantee after season 5, and season 5 could possibly get shortened. So that's why I'm just like, I'm like, they want to go to Lower Decks. I just started watching Lower Decks. I like it.
I mean, the newest episode has Rom and Chase Masterson's character, Rom's wife. Mm-hmm. The title was a spoof on Garth Marenghi's Dark Place.
See, I have to catch up with that because I'm still on season. I'm beginning season 2, so I need to get caught up. But definitely, like I said, support these shows, because let's be honest, viewership is the new currency now. And if it's not getting viewership, these networks will cut to save money. Trust me, they have no problem doing that. But I did want to get your thoughts on this, Joe, as well, just because we did see the season finale of Ashoka. Again, spoiler alert, because we are going to talk about it. If you have not seen Ashoka, if you have not seen the last episode of this current season for Ashoka, now would be a good time to mute us and come back to us in a few minutes, because we're definitely going to talk about it. But Joe, I gotta ask, for the 6 episodes that we got to watch, were you pleased, and do you think it deserves a season 2?
It was fine. Chopper continues to be a massive war criminal.
Yeah.
Honestly, would have liked if they had written Ray Stevenson, done some editing and like written Ray Stevenson's characters out a little earlier, considering what happened with the poor gentleman. Because him wandering off towards the end and then finding whatever he found, we know that's not going to be resolved without recasting him.
Pretty much.
So that's one of those, like, you could have edited that last part out with him and gave me something else. Because now that makes no sense to anybody if you don't know who anybody is, and a whole lot of other things. Like, other than that, I mean, it was fine. This is another season of Rebels. We get to see Thrawn coming back. Hopefully something will be done about that if we get a season 2. I think the big standout, other than the guy who does Thrawn, Lars Mikkelsen, who does a fantastic job. And guys, you got to realize you're trapped on a barren planet. You're not going to get your cardio in. Even if being a chiss means you're going to get a little bit of a punch. Let it go. But standout would have to be easily Hayden Christensen. Again, this man proves I just had a really bad director every single movie I was in that said Star Wars.
Oh, yeah.
Because this man, like, solo carried that series, that episode he was in.
Oh, I will completely agree with that. He is definitely getting his, I won't say.
He's getting his flowers. That man is getting just bouquet after bouquet.
I mean, yeah, those episodes where he's literally a part of the force and actually leading Ahsoka, I was like, I like how they did that. And of course, Chopper is funny. But I do like the whole thing with Ezra, or as I like to call him, Jedi Moses. It's funny
leading his little crab people across the Red Sea.
That was he was interesting, as well as the fact that him and Hera got to meet. Of course, we got the big reunion there. That Sabine and Ahsoka are stranded to a certain extent on the planet. Now
let's see what they're stranded with. They're Charles Dickens rock crab friends.
Pretty much.
I've never seen since fancy dressed people in all of Star Wars. Well, they literally do look like they are like some background characters in a Muppet Christmas Carol.
Well, I mean, you gotta dress nice when you take your home with you. Always be your best. But again, it's the whole idea of just still seeing Ray Stevens' apprentice. I forgot her name already. That she still is with a bit of the Imperials. The weird thing, which I didn't think was gonna work, but it did, the undead clone soldiers, which I thought was like, so the sisters are just constantly necromancing. I didn't think it would work, but it did. I actually like the whole idea of that. But yeah, I mean, overall, Ahsoka has just been wonderful. David Tennant as Wong is that man. He needs to come back on Doctor. He needs to come back with another season with Doctor Who as well. But overall, I like what they did in 6 episodes. Rosario Dawson really did a magnificent job. Hayden Christensen got to get his another epic run in, and at the same time, like Joe said, this was basically Star Wars Rebels. If this is not a reason to go back and go watch the Rebels series on Disney Plus, you really should. Just because so much is explained, you'll probably look at this and go, "Okay, this is how we got to here." Yes, but at the same time, does it deserve a second season? I hope Filoni. Honestly, I hope Filoni is given Star Wars. If this is what he does with Ahsoka and what we've seen with The Mandalorian and him trying to fix the second half of Boba Fett, if this is what he does with Star Wars, just give the man the keys and let him go. But I have no issues with it. I loved it. But anything else you want to add to that, Joe?
No, like I said, it's like a solid 7 out of 10, which for some weird reason I've been hearing that's like a death sentence for a lot of things. I don't understand that mentality. Like a 7 out of 10 means you're slightly above adequate. You're good. You're solid. Like a 6 means you're adequate. 5 means you're borderline. Like 7 out of 10 is a good thing.
I'm going to be honest with you. I blame IGN. IGN, and Rotten Tomatoes. It's like if it doesn't get an 8, if it doesn't get a 9 or above, if it doesn't get 100% certified, it's almost like, well, it's crappy. No, because there's such things as review bombing. There's such things as folks that will tank something because they want it to do terrible. We've seen that happen before. So that's why it's just like, give it a shot. Like I said, Ashoka has been great. I have no issues with it. I hope I'm fairly beyond sure it's gonna get a season 2. But if this is the setup for the next season, I am all for it, no problem. But yeah, I mean, I would probably give it a closer to an 8 for myself. But still, a great series. It definitely did. Filoni has proven that he can write Star Wars. At the same time, it has proven that you should go back and watch Rebels. if there's any other reason to go back and watch a show, that's pretty much it. The other 2 reviews that I have, this one is basically also from the world of Netflix, Castlevania Nocturne, which basically follows Castlevania, the previous series with a new Belmont. For its 8-run episode that it has on Netflix, really quickly, guys, it is definitely worth watching. I'm not going to spoil the end because, again, I did not see that coming. I think that it does set up for the next season. How they explained this Belmont was very interesting. It was very quick paced, especially with the twist in the middle, because I did not see that coming. But overall, within 8 episodes, it was definitely worth watching because they took some liberties with this story, and I'm kind of glad they took risk with that. Some folks saw it as, of course, idealistic, quote unquote, woke, and all that mess. But really, it's just a great story. But I would highly recommend it. If I was going to rate it myself, I would probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. But Joe, did you get a chance to watch it?
So I did not get a chance to watch it, but I did get a chance to dig into it. They did actually not take as many liberties as you think. This actually follows Rondo of Blood very much closer than the previous 2 Castlevanias on their Curse of Dracula series.
Mm-hmm.
So this is almost verbatim the game. Give or take some mild identities to the villains.
Yeah.
But this follows Rondo of Blood very closely. So I'll be looking forward to see what getting caught up and see what season 2 has in store.
I completely agree with that. But again, that's on Netflix for you guys to see right now.
Also, the Black Vampires. They were designed fantastically.
I'm sorry, I cut you off. What were you saying, Joe?
Oh, I was going to say, I like the design of the Black Vampires.
Mm-hmm.
They were done fantastically. One that was he obviously supposed to be Prince?
Yes.
Okay, so it wasn't just me. No. I don't need to feel bad saying that. I just like, you're Prince, but you're Prince, right?
It pretty much, I said the same thing when I saw it. I literally was sitting there humming Purple Rain as I saw it. So
okay.
It ain't just you. Don't feel bad. It ain't just you, because we all said it. But anyway, again, as Joe said, that people of color were drawn and written perfectly for that series, by the way. So again, just want to point that out. All right. Before we move forward, we do talk about an episode of Loki, because they did give us the first episode of the 2nd season that did drop yesterday. Again, spoiler alert, if you have not seen Loki, now would be a good time to mute us or come back to us in a few minutes, because we have to talk about where Loki and the TVA kind of stand right now. Keep in mind, this is post the fact that He Who Remains was killed by Sylvie. Again, Loki was kicked through a time door. He wound up in a TVA he did not recognize, only to find out that he had been kicked in the past and that he's jumping from the past to the future, back to the present, ergo time skipping. And the whole episode was just about trying to pull him out of this infernal loop that he's in, as Mobius and B5 try to deal with the remains of the Authority after finding out that the Time Masters were pretty much fake. Overall, this episode has been great. Ki Hai Kwan, I love the fact that, man,
he stole the whole episode.
He not only stole the whole episode, like I said, I love the fact that him and Brendan Fraser are just they're popping up in so many things now, and that just warms my heart to see that. To see Kiakwana as OB and the whole conversation that he was having with Loki in the past and Mobius in the future, and the whole time it's like, wait, oh yeah, oh wait, I did talk to him. And it's like it's I don't know who came up with the idea for that scene, but that was freaking genius.
I don't have one of those. No, wait, no, yep. Here you go.
Yeah, like that whole scene, the whole scene of that being set up, that to me was freaking genius. I do love the fact that B5 has just went from, complete follower to now it's like, we don't believe a freaking thing that you guys say after what we've seen. It's
So
like
we've been committing mass atrocities, and I now feel bad.
yeah. She's sitting there the whole time saying, no, this is a lie. At the same time, I just love the fact that those that are still there, the authority were like, okay, so we know this is all BS, but we're still going to continue like nothing happened.
No, I didn't get that from them. I took it as, okay, so we have solid proof. You've given it to us. We believe you, but we still need to get Sylvie because she is a consistent unknown factor that can cause even more damage. Is what I got from that. It's the TVA is on their side now. They understand what's going on. They understand, that dude's the problem.
Yeah.
But part of the TVA, the rogue part of the TVA is like, yes, Sylvie's still the problem.
True. And even though we did see Sylvie for a brief moment near the end of the episode, it does explain the fact that everybody's wondering, well, I actually seen some comments where people are like, well, that's all we get to see of Kang. I said, well, you have to think about this. The guy that was literally holding it all together was already 86. And if anybody remembers from Quantumania, that entire realm of Kangs, all those variants, including the big three that wanted to knock off He Who Remains. I'm sorry. They wanted to knock off Kang the Conqueror. Now it's like, yeah, the timeline's got to be flooded with them. But at the same time, and a lot of people are like, well, what about Victor Timely? God,
he's a common. He's a common.
I was like, it's episode 1. It's literally and figuratively episode 1. Give it a moment.
And I mean, all the Kangs are all going to be coming after Ravonna anyways.
Pretty much.
If you have ever read a comic involving Kang, he's got 2 missions: rule time and get with Ravonna. And that is literally it's literally one woman has to deal with the same man 1,000 times over.
Pretty much. But that's where, I mean, really for it to be the first episode, the fact that it's more of a catch-up point, and the fact that Mobius really was determined to save Loki. He literally has this, he thinks that Loki can really be redeemed. And at the same time, I think it's great about that he has that. He sees so much in Loki, like you could actually be a lot more than what people give you credit for. And even to the point where he risks getting pulled out of time just to pull him out of the time sphere, pull him out of the time streamline. I just, it makes for a great first episode. So again, like me and Joe both said, we are going to see more of Kang's variants. It is bound to happen, but at the same time, guys, it's just the first episode. They still got to figure out where Sylvie is in all of this, because as you can see, she's literally jumping from one spot to another. So that's going to be the story itself. But Joe, anything else you wanted to add to that?
No, I think I know where Sylvie is, just like location-wise. I don't think anything has to do with 1982, and I could be wrong, but I think the Brackton, Oklahoma is where Asgard was for a bit in the comics. Right when Norman Osborn tried to invade it during Siege, it was like just floating over a town in Oklahoma.
Yeah. That's right.
I don't know if it's the same town or not, but like Oklahoma in the Marvel Universe actually has a weird symbiosis. I don't understand it. I live there. Not much to do.
I mean, it could be worse. It could be New Asgard. It could also be that too. But but no. Aside from that, again, still a solid first episode. And again, we'll cover the next episode, of course, next week on Get Bit. But that's everything that I have. Joe, do you have anything else before we move on to your comic impressions?
Yeah, we can talk about Power Rangers for a hot second. You will hear much more detailed thoughts on Raindrops with me and Shadow, but in the grand scheme of things, it was fine. This is the big finale. They're rebooting Power Rangers entirely from this point. This also leads into the anniversary series. What's up?
So let me cut you. Let me not interrupt. Sorry to interrupt you, but I got to ask your opinion on this. Because this is no longer following the Super Sentai, from my understanding. Do you think that is a bad idea, or do you think that gives them a blank canvas to work with?
It depends on how they want to move forward. If you want to reboot and start adapting the comics, I think you are just bang on gonna hit this thing out of the park. If you're gonna try and do it on your own and try to make your own suits, let me point you over to Tattooed Teenage Alien Fighters of Beverly Hills. And for some of you, I just unlocked a core memory.
I saw. You know what? Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
And that's going to be the clip of the night.
Oh, keep going, because there's going to be somebody that's going to be sitting there saying, "What?" And I have to find it.
I have to Google this. No, like I said, the whole series is fine. They only adapted 2/3 of Q Ranger.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I would have liked if they had adapted the whole thing because we would have gotten more Megazords out of it, and I really would have liked that we could have. Oh yeah, here we go.
I knew the sound, but go ahead, Joe, because there's gonna be folks that doesn't think this.
Oh no, we need to mute us and play this. This is just a whole thing on its own.
Okay. Give me a second. Okay,
guys, just a whole moment. We're about to see the worst of the '90s here in just a second.
Oh, it's definitely worse. Worse.
Molecular, home planet for the diabolically evil Emperor Gorganus. Gorganus has vowed to use his army of alien monsters to conquer Earth, the focal point of a system of power portals he needs to rule the universe. I am Nimbar, head protector of the power portals. To carry out my mission to stop Gorganus, I have chosen 4 teenagers from Beverly Hills. I summoned them by flashing their tattoos. Then they transform into galactic sentinels.
Scorpio! Horus! Centaur! Apollo!
The fate of the Earth depends on these tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills.
Tattooed teenage alien fighters. Tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills. Tattooed teenage.
It's terrible. It's terrible. Joe tried to warn you. I tried to warn you. That was an actual show that I think it only got one season. It did only get one season. This played on USA when USA was trying different things. I think this was around the time that I want to say Beetleborgs was also coming out and VR Troopers was winding down and Power Rangers was really hitting their stride. So USA was like, we have to have a superhero show. And this is what they came up with.
Yep. Yeah, because Masked Rider was there, and I don't think Mystic Knights of Tiranoga came out yet.
Not yet. No. I think it came out afterwards. I think because I think VR Troopers went away, and then Mystic Knights came. I think Mystic Knights of Tiranoga came out after that because it was something had disappeared in order for one thing to come up.
No, it was Masked Rider that disappeared because VR Troopers actually got a second season because that's when they started using the giant robots.
Ah, cool. Okay. It was one of those shows that disappeared. I thought it was VR Troopers, but no. As Joe had pointed out, it was the '90s. Everybody was trying to find a superhero show. Ham Saban had made a deal with Fox and was bringing over the Super Sentai series, which for us, it was Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. And of course, like over here in the States, because it basically caught like wildfire. And so other networks tried it and horribly failed, as you saw, because Tattoo Teenage Alien Fighters from Beverly Hills is by far one of the worst names you can give a superhero show. And
but not the first time, and I'm going to make Will play this.
Oh, I got
to get Power Rangers beforehand, from the USA Network, and that was Dynaman.
Bioman or Dynaman?
No, Dynaman USA Network.
Okay, give me a second.
Bear with us here on this one, but this is searchable. I believe it's all on YouTube. I actually have this on DVD. It is not a legitimate DVD copy. I will tell you this right now. It is maybe better or maybe worse than Tattoo Teenage Alien Fighters, but it's there.
Hey, Kaiju Sentai Dynaman. Oh, okay.
No. Just Dynaman USA Network.
Yeah, I had to do a different search for it. Give me a second. I got it.
Okay.
I had to find it. I was like,
so Hayam Saban did try to bring over Bioman as the initial Power Ranger thing, but USA Network got a hold of Dynaman's rights and didn't recast it. They just redubbed it. And it's not an Ultraman dub where you just got like minor name changes to like Billy or Cody or something like that.
Let me see if I can find a short one, because I feel like if I find the long one, it's going to come back to haunt us. Oh, okay. Is this? Okay, cool. Hang on. Okay, I think I got it, because it's terrible quality, which means I found it. All right.
That's it.
Okay, here we go.
Oh no, it was terrible quality to begin with.
It's time now for Dynaman. 5 good-looking Japanese friends from all walks of life. Wushi, their leader, is Dyna Red. Cuba, able to leap tall trees, is Dyna Black. Frankie, the human outboard motor, is Dyna Blue. Cowboy, the slow-thinking weapons expert, is Dyna Yellow. And their main squeeze slow gin is Dyna Pink. Under the guidance of this man, Dr. Ho, who, from his laboratory and daycare center, keeps the world safe from the evil antics of Bernie Tanaka and Mel Fujitsu. At one time his partners, but now his arch enemies. Who can stop them? Who can save the world? Ho, that's who. And check this out. The ultimate persuader in the relentless battle against evil. These are the adventures of Dynaman.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. You know what the messed up part about that was? That did anyone catch
thinking weapons expert?
The slow thinking weapons expert? The slow thinking weapons. Oh, the things that they got away with. Oh wow, that just wow.
Oh, that's not even the tip of the iceberg of the jokes. I still remember quite a few of them. My favorite one is where Dr. Ho tells the kid, "All right, kids, go watch the new World War II movie. It's got an exciting new ending."
Oh God, that is good and terrible. Oh,
and what is the other one? It's like, all right, we all need to think of code names. Annette, Cubby. And then just continue to read name off musketeers, and then one of my favorite quotes I always use. Ah, yes, good strong Japanese names.
Just the slow thinking weapons expert kills me. But no, really, folks, that the fact that, and again, just to bring it back to Power Rangers before we went on this rabbit hole of terrible shows, of terrible superhero shows. But yeah, as Joe had said, Power Rangers has ended. When I mean by ended, I mean that they're ending the, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Joe, they're ending their Super Sentai storytelling, which means that anything moving forward is basically going to be original. It is going to be brand new. It's not going to have recycled footage from the previous Sentai series. So that's the reason I want to ask Joe, because he's more well versed in Ranger lore and things of that nature than I am. Just is it nervous, or is it like do we hope they have the right direction, or just it's a wait and see?
It's a wait and see because, I mean, they've done American only and it's gone over well. Lord Zed is American only. He's one of the most iconic villains in Power Rangers lore, and he's American only. The Titanium Ranger from Lightspeed Rescue, also American only, never was its own thing. Went over fairly well.
Okay.
But, they also had Sentai footage to back it up and help pad it out. We had a longer stretch of time with Lord Zed as a main villain, so like we know his ins and outs, we know his character, we've seen character arcs and whatnot with him. We even see minor character growth in this last 8 episodes with him. I was very disappointed we didn't get to see a certain fight happen because like we had 2 opposing forces in like their most powerful forms ever, and they didn't fight.
Okay.
Like I said, it was okay. Moving forward, I'm not going to say I am worried. I will say I'm concerned because, like I said, we have 2 very distinct routes.
Yeah.
We can go the comic, and the comic, again, I reiterate, the comic is fantastic. We want to stay in that Zordon spot, but continue with our own unique footage. We follow the Omega Rangers. We just go like, and make it an animated series or do live action stuff, or they'll be like, here's the Omega Rangers. Do the Omega Ranger stuff. They are completely separate. They have no counterpart Super Sentai to deal with. We can also do a derivative of the RPG world, Hyperforce. They do not have a Sentai corresponding with them. Or they can just reboot from zero and we get a new version of Zordon and a new version of Rangers that are based off the dinosaurs, but completely holistic footage. But then you try to think of, if we're going to reboot that much,
right?
Why are we not? Are we just going to use CGI Megazords and whatnot because the Zord footage is there and whatnot? But like, or we go the dark route of, as we just saw, tattooed teenage alien fighters from Beverly Hills.
Jesus Christ!
There is no middle road, people. That is what I'm trying to tell you. There is no middle road.
But the fact they formed a night with the same height, you know what? Never mind. We're gonna leave that in the past where it should be because my God, terrible. But thank you for that, Joe.
You guys will hear a more in-depth thing. We'll go over the episodes and thought of the adding of the official Orange Ranger. It's happened before, guys, but that's Sentai. The fact that they didn't use the Kyutama suits, which actually I would actually say would have made Billy look even better because he does bring up in an episode, it's like, oh yeah, after I lost the Triceratops power, I gained the power of a wolf ninja, and the Blue Ranger in Kyutama is a werewolf Sajin or a werewolf alien whose ranger suit does look like he is a werewolf in a ranger costume. That would have been so cool if Billy had tapped into the old ninja powers and got a new higher form for his riding the Cosmic Fury Ninja Zord.
That would have been interesting. I'll give it that.
But like I said, we also don't adapt 2/3 of Q Ranger, or we don't adapt a third of Q Ranger. So like there's a whole Ranger and a whole other Megazord and a whole other facet of that story that was just like completely scrapped.
See, that's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping they really take it from there. I want them to do something original. I want them to do something that doesn't have them depending on previous footage. And like you said, it's up in the air how the Megazord fights. I mean, they could stage it, they could CGI it. It's going to be a lot of wait and see as far as what they come up with that.
The other problem they're going to have moving forward on why they aren't adapting it, and I completely understand why they're not adapting it, is the Reiwa era Power Rangers is going to be very hard to adapt. They can't do Zenkaiger because you only get one human actor and the other 4 people are basically walking human-sized Megazords. Dawn Brothers, look, I'm just going to be legit. Dawn Brothers is like taking a gummy and wanting taking an edible and you're not sure if it's the Sentai series or if the edible kicked in. There is no middle ground in that. You watch Dawn Brothers, I'm right. I'm 100% correct. It's either the series or the edible kicked in.
I was gonna say both.
Oh no, that's when the Megazord fight happens. Is when both happens.
Because you'll have somebody freaking out. You'll have somebody freaking out at that point. But no.
So it's just been getting progressively harder and harder to think like move my hand correctly. King Oger?
Mm-hmm.
This doesn't even happen in Japan technically. This happens in its own Earth, on its own Sentai series and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Distinct Kingdoms, they're using the same background technology as The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm.
So just as of this weekend, they're doing a crossover episode so they can establish a new Red Ranger, pull him into the series because the old Red Ranger is now officially the Gold Ranger.
Nice. Cool.
So, but like I said, that's probably part of the reason why they're not adapting Sentai anymore is it's costly to pay Toei because Toei wants its money.
Of course.
Toei wants its money. If you're going to be adapting and using, taking the suits, taking the Zord suits, getting your stuntmen trained up on how to move and some of these things, some of those suits are really, really hard to move in. Whoever is in the Zord suit for King Oger, dude, I salute you, and I want to see what that back brace they have mounted on you is, because this man looks like he's carrying 40 or 50 pounds of plywood on his back to make God King Oger.
Nice.
And if you're Googling that, just God King Oger.
Oh no, we're gonna have to stop a rabbit. We're gonna do a rabbit hole episode one day and just roll with it. You know what? Remind me about that. We have to come up with a rabbit hole episode of just the weirdest shows, just so we can sit there and say they existed. I have to do that. We'll do that one day. But I'm sorry, Joe. Go ahead.
No, like I said, it was fine for me. It does establish where in continuity it is. Without saying too much, this is a lead into the anniversary series that happened a little bit earlier this year. I want to say the end of August or the beginning of September, one of those two. The 30th anniversary. Shadow has those dates down much stronger than I do.
Gotcha.
I'm more of the Japanese side. He's more of the American side for Power Rangers.
Well, we'll have to get him back on here so he can. I know because he's excited. I know. I really want him to talk about his project. That I want him. I don't want to say it because I don't want to take away his shine. I want him to explain it in such great detail. So
go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I was going to say we're going to just have him on the show to explain his next venture. But what were you going to say?
We had a big eye opener this last weekend when we went to go meet Steve Cardenas. I'll just say that.
Oh, we got her to get shouted back on the show.
Actually, I did get something from him. Moving hurts. COVID vaccine taking effect. So I got his coin and he autographed it.
Nice.
But the cool thing is what's on the back. Come on, focus. It is a specialized Die Ranger Dragon Zord coin.
Oh, and the fact that he signed it, sir, I need you to seal that.
No, it is sealed.
I'm talking about the whole thing.
Go
ahead and make sure that you do not. That is cool. But yeah,
we just sat and talked to him, and he just gave us so much information. I wanted to make sure that his coming out to Rick's Comic City last Saturday was worth his venture. I know me and Shadow got stuff from him. I don't know if anyone came before us, but we pretty much monopolized the time and had a very nice eye-opening for us on how things will be moving forward with that particular venture.
Yep. And of course, we'll have Shadow on here to definitely discuss that because that is his baby. And I definitely want him at the forefront of that. Besides that, guys, like I said before, as Joe's getting ready to go over the comics, because we did, I guess before, we're definitely going to do that. But before Joe's actually bringing it up, again, we did mention Rick's Comic City. We always do want to show them love. Rick's Comic City, the #1 place in Nashville for comics. Definitely has 2 locations. As you can see right there, if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, you can check them out in Nashville at 2720 Lebanon Road, and of course in Clarksville at 1923 Madison Street, Suite H. They do have Locker Nerd, which is basically one of their ventures at Fort Campbell, so you can definitely check them out there. Of course, you go to rickscomiccity.com to where you'll be able to actually see, as you can see, this is their website there, to where you can buy comic books, hardcovers, things of that nature, where you can get your comic pulls, do everything online, because that's the one thing I'll say about them, that they definitely do adapt with the times. As you can see right there, there's a lot of reprints of comics that you definitely get, and you can actually get trades and hardcovers, things of that nature. They are there for the taking. So definitely, if you are in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely check out Rick's Comic City. If you are not in the Middle Tennessee area, definitely support your local comic book stores, support your local libraries, because these are the last places to where you'll be able to get books. And I don't have the library card in front of me because it's one of my favorites. Joe actually has that card too as well, where we suggest read banned books. Now, kids, what I mean by that is, I'm not trying to get political here, but if you haven't noticed, in some schools and some public schools and public libraries, some books are disappearing. Whatever, and I have to give Stephen King the credit for this. He sat there and said, read the books they don't want you to read because there's something in there they don't want you to know. And at the same time, it's not a diabolical secret. It's the fact that literature is always fun. Reading is fundamental. LeVar Burton taught us all that. Now, with that being said, I see Joe's got his thing up, so I'm going to go ahead and toss it to him, sir. So go right ahead.
All right, so D Squad, this is continuing that Dark Droid saga that's going over Star Wars right now. Guys, I'm going to be honest. I only included this book because I want to see R2 Chopper. I want to see who gets the higher body count, Chopper or BT1. I don't care about any other droids except 000, which is the Dark R2, BT1, which is the Dark R2, and I want to see Chopper, and I want to see who gets the higher body count. That's it. That's the only reason I'm recommending this comic.
Money was on Chopper.
I don't know. BT1 has so many missile ports for such a little astromech.
Hey, you always got to be prepared.
Yeah, this is continuing the Dark Droid thing. This is a rehash of the Droid Squad from the one particular Clone War episode where there's nothing but the droids. So we get that one pod racer repair droid, Chopper R2. I don't know what the bug-looking thing is. I think that was from The Mandalorian, which was voiced by Richard Ayoade.
Yeah.
Maybe IG-88, and then BT1 and 000. Like I said, I'm only recommending this only so for the fact of Chopper's in it.
Yeah, boy. Chopper is not. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is written by Mark Guggenheim with art by Sylvia Espin and art colors by Israel Silva.
Okay.
Yep. This is Contest of Chaos. This is X-Men Annual #1. This has nothing to do with the current thing. This is out of continuity.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Right now.
I just want to include it because it gets to see Cyclops fight Captain Carol. And it's really funny because they're trying to be as diplomatic as possible with each other, but I mean, in the end, a fight breaks out.
Of course.
This is already finished. I don't think anybody cares about this Contest of Chaos thing. This is supposed to be much bigger, but this was also supposed to coincide with Agatha Harkness's TV series coming out, whatever that show will come out and whatever name it's going to come out under. But this just whole series just kind of falls flat. Again, I merely am adding it because I'm a fan of Carol and I'm a pretty decent fan of this version of Cyclops.
Oh, the no F given Cyclops?
Just the Krakoa Cyclops.
Oh yeah, no F's given.
Yeah.
No F's given Cyclops.
This is written by Paul Aller with art by Alejandro Miracolo, and colors by Annalisa Leone. Again, if you want to read it, it's fine. It's an annual. It's not going to matter too much in the grand scheme of things. It's just one of those, who's going to win in a fight?
Mm-hmm.
This is Uncanny Avengers #2. I really dug this one because Deadpool just calls out everybody in this. This is continuing from the last one where they are fighting against roaches and Captain America's arm has been broken.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's wandering around with a version of Bucky's arm that's acting as a prosthetic cast.
Mm-hmm.
And then the mutant portion of this is telling him, Cap's like, yeah, we're taking over.
Mm-hmm.
And then Deadpool just kind of sets everybody straight, which I love. Because, I mean, it's Deadpool, and this is one of those times where you realize if Wade makes sense and talks from the heart, he's a very wise individual when he wants to be.
For a brief moment in time, but yes.
He's just like, this man has stood beside you every single time. He is a man who knows what what it looks like to see tyranny take hold against a singular race.
Mm-hmm.
And the moment he breaks his arm, which he's already solved, you want to sideline him. Now, Rogue wants to take over, but again, I love this purely for the Deadpool speech.
Yeah.
Also, for whatever weird reason, Quicksilver really hitting on M. Don't get that thing. I guess that's holdover from the old Peter Davison X-Force run.
I started to think that at first, but yeah.
Now, definitely support this book. It goes with the Fall of X. At least the Avengers are also affected by Fall of X.
Mm-hmm.
This is written by Jerry Dugan with art by Javier Garon and colors by Maury Hollowell. Again, give it a shot. It's worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Uncanny Spider-Man, also Fall of X. Mm-hmm. Written by Cy Spurrier. Art by Lee Garbart and colors by Matt Milla. I didn't realize I wanted Nightcrawler to be Spider-Man until now, but it works.
I mean, he's practically, well, I mean, he's not on the same side as Peter Parker with Darkseid, but Jesus, if it ain't close.
Plus, he's got his weird astral rapier of his own mindscape that he can project. The one thing that makes me mad about this, and this is the only thing that makes me mad about this, is he thanks Peter for giving him an old suit. Where is this suit in any of those comics? Because this is a banger of a Spider-Man suit.
It is a fair point. That definitely is a fair point, because I don't remember that suit ever being, well, I could be wrong about that, but it could be a red herring too.
No, red herring is only for Fred to tell about.
I see what you did there.
Thank you. So why is Kurt being Spider-Man? Because much like Peter Parker, Kurt has immense guilt for the hand that he, for what role he played during the Sins of Sinister. So what better way to get your guilt out than masquerading as a Spider-Man? And the best part is that everybody in New York, because you're a spider-themed person, you immediately get acceptance and completely ignore the fact that you have only 3 hands, 3 toes, and a tail. But you're a spider person, so, that's par for course.
Yeah, details.
Pretty much. No, definitely recommend this. Go give this a read. Hopefully issue 2 will come out soon. Dark X-Men 2. I love this book. I love this book so much. I love that Alex may or may not be a zombie, too. I am unsure of what his current mortality status is.
But the fact he's just calm about everything. Like, nothing pleases him.
Your house is a literal hell dimension, and you're sleeping with the Queen of the Realm. Are you really... This is essentially Gomez and Morticia Addams if they had more superpowers.
True, but it's almost like Gomez is oblivious to it all. While everyone else can see it, he's like, yeah, I mean, yeah, you're right, but I mean, it's fine.
We also learned some other key facts, like her version of Cerebro, the Crown of Mercy is fundamentally different, that she is able to locate the souls of mutants.
Right.
Which makes it a much broader searching range, I guess, than even Cerebro. So that's something.
I like the fact that he said, "Oh, you have a Cerebro? Please, that is an insult." Oh, okay.
I do like that the team is solidifying. I'm just waiting for when Ben joins the team, because he's got to at some point at this rate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't mind that we got Gambit and Gimmick. Implate's fine. If you're not a big Gen X person, you're not going to realize who Implate is. Azazel is just there as a stand-in for Kurt, and then we're going to get to see a chimera of Madeline and Magic face off against pure Madeline. So that's going to be something.
Yeah.
Plus, also, Warren's seen better days.
Hey, that ain't the understatement of the year.
No, but I really love this, because this to me is this part of X-Men's Hellions.
Yeah.
Where it's a very dark humor, tongue-in-cheek book, and I love me Madeline Pryor. I love Havoc. It's just, he is such the definition of a simp for Madeline, but she, at least in return, truly does love that he is making an actual effort to be with her.
But at the same time, oblivious to every. Well, let me take that back. I don't think he's oblivious. I think he's accepted it.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah, he's not oblivious to it. He sees what's going on. It's
Mm-hmm.
like, you know what? I got the girl I want. We're happy. Nothing else matters.
Yeah.
You know, you're not breathing. Nothing else matters. You know, your skin's slowly going great. Nothing else matters.
You might actually be a zombie, but hey, you still love her.
Yep. So, biggest recommend for that one. Moving over to DC, we got Nightwing number 106.
Mm-hmm.
Ignore the. I think I put the wrong thing. Yeah, that's Scarlet Witch. This is written by Tom Taylor and drawn by Conrad. So this is Tom Taylor looking at the one part of Nightwing that made everybody mad. How do we deal with Rick Grayson? Tom Taylor's like, you hate Rick Grayson. We're going to deal with him, and I'm going to make you love Rick Grayson. So the whole plot of this is, when he was Rick Grayson, he gave something of great importance of himself should he ever go back to Dick Grayson in the vault that was previously established early in the series. So now Dick is going to the vault to see what's going on in shenanigans and say, that's pretty much this book. We're starting a new arc with it. So this is a good jumping on point. It's an okay book for everything that Nightwing's been doing. So that means the book is still fantastic. It's just, there have already been stronger Nightwing issues.
Yeah.
We're going to forget that Scarlet Witch there, but this is nice. It's still being written by people and doing things. Green Lantern War Journal number 1. A Green Lantern book I can read without going, why am I reading the same thing over and over again?
Damn.
I will continue to be petty against Hal Jordan. There's nothing any of you can do to stop me.
Look, you that's between you and Hal. I got nothing to do with that. I have nothing to do with that.
So this is a good book. This is a good Green Lantern book. This is now what was split between 2 stories is now slowly culminating into one. John is back on Earth, much like all the rest of the Earth Lanterns. They're all back on Earth. Mm-hmm. In John's case, he no longer needs a ring. He is now just John Stewart, Emerald Knight, staying home with his mom because his mom is at that stage of life where she needs somebody to help her around the house or not. Her mind's starting to go because she keeps telling John, oh, your sister's going to come home any moment. We got to get the house good. And if you are unaware, John's sister died at the age of 6 in a car accident that John incidentally caused when he was like 8 or 10. So he is the reason his sister's dead, but like his mom is starting to become so out of it that he just like makes a construct of his little sister that is like full color and everything to help placate the mom. That was kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And then, of course, a rookie Lantern comes to the Earth and like hey, we heard you got a ring. We're going to need that ring back. And John's like, don't have a ring, bud. You need to leave. Of course, being a rookie Lantern, he does not know who John is. I think that's a critical mistake. I would think his ring would immediately identify John of who he is.
Right.
And update the rookie. So John decides to politely ask the man to leave. And when that declines, John decides to uppercut the man into the atmosphere. He does not follow. He's still on the ground. The punches are so hard, he ejects the rookie Lantern from Earth's orbit.
Pretty much. If that was not a yeet moment.
No, I believe King of the Hill puts it better. We politely but firmly ask him to leave.
Not just the premises, but the solar system.
Mm-hmm. And then the story also picks up where we get a zombie version of the Star Sapphire ring dropping to Earth from another dimension. And another dimension's Guy Gardner?
Yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Well.
No, it's that other version's Guy Gardner because he's got the different uniform because Guy's already back on Earth.
True.
Because Guy's we see Guy's back on Earth with his ring in Fire and Ice. No, Blue Beetle.
Blue Beetle. I guess you could call it Guy Gardner. I guess. I'm in between on that.
I know that this is not our guy. This is a different guy.
Right.
At the very least. That's a guy from the previous universe where that universe had like fully powered Emerald Knight John.
Yeah.
Yeah. Still good Green Lantern book. I will continue to read it. I'm just going to support it because it's a good John Stewart book, and John Stewart's just a good Lantern.
Yeah, but he deserves a good. I'm sorry, he deserves a better run than Emerald Knight. But who am I to judge? Some people liked it, some people didn't.
Everyone's just mad that he got the Emerald Knight powers, then immediately got like stuffed. Like the next time we see him,
right?
You're the most powerful being in the universe, given powers directly by Jack Kirby. By the way, you're going to take a first round loss
to someone who, you know what? Nope. Leave that from the Robert Pool episode. Go ahead.
Yep. So this is written by Philip Kennedy Johnson with art by Montos and colors by Arredondo Lucas. Again, go give this a shot. If other Green Lantern book is not your thing, like it's not mine, and honestly, it's not for the fact that it's Hal Jordan. It's the other Green Lantern book is just very cut and paste a Green Lantern story that I've read a million times. And with the John book, we're entering new, different territory, which is why I'm liking it.
Okay.
Superman 6, written by Josh Williamson and art by Glev McConaughey. We get to meet the new Superman villain, the Chained, who I hope gets a better uniform and look midway through, because I'll be honest, and this was just me, when they revealed who it was, I honest to God thought it was Alexander Luthor prior post Infinite Crisis. Like they just rebooted and Lex found Alexander and just locked him up.
I can see that.
But apparently this is some dude who was Lex Luthor's primary villain when Lex was the superhero of Metropolis prior to Superman coming, and Lex and Defeat locked him up. Superman frees him inadvertently and stuff. Also, there's some stuff going on with Lois. Again, part 1, good jumping on point if you want to check it out. I can actually recommend this thing of Superman. Superman has been pretty consistently good. Yep. Next up, okay, guys, I gotta preface this one with a big of a trigger warning for some things. There's some really, really harsh content in this. I will not lie. I will start by saying this is a book that I feel needs to be read. This is a book that always needs to be at the table. We always need to have somebody writing about this kind of stuff. But this does have some very negative imagery, some very triggering things with certain parallel to government agencies that have been used in our lifetime. So there's that. Also, the main villain behind it, is most definitely going to upset somebody. I'm surprised I haven't seen this in the news or on Fox at some point already because of what this is for the main villain.
Well, let's be honest, it's Fox. They don't really read comics, but go ahead.
No, they don't. Thank God. But, I mean, to the villain, we will say this. He is called the King of America.
Mm-hmm.
He holds the Black Lasso of Lies. It's exactly what it sounds like, guys. Keep in mind, Wonder Woman has very few reoccurring villains because she deals with her people unless she thinks they can be redeemed. Diana has no problem offing somebody.
As she is told Batman and Flash, I don't have a rogues gallery. Because when I have enemies, I deal with them. And the shocked look on Flash's face will forever be etched in my head. Batman scowl. Flash is horrified. It's like, yeah, that's pretty much the reaction you get when you hear Wonder Woman and her body count.
Cheetah is still around because sometimes they're sisters, sometimes they're enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Dr. Psycho can get out of there because the man's just a masterful escape artist. But he knows when he's gone too far and bails.
Pretty much.
And then it's really hard to kill a god. So
but you are right about this. This is like I said before, it is a trigger warning. Just because it's more not to go in, like I said, not trying to spoil it, but think of it like Eric Kripke took The Boys kind of storytelling and put it in Wonder Woman. That's about it's extreme and it's shocking, but it works because we have never seen Wonder Woman in this type of territory before, which I think is what makes for a great issue on this. Is just that it is so different and uncharacteristic of her that we see her like this to the point to where it's like, okay, I have to keep reading it. So yeah, the shock factor is there. As Joe said, definitely a warning needs to be attached to this. If you're expecting the normal Wonder Woman story, you're not getting it.
So the reason why I'm stating this is we got violence against women, very harsh violence against women, families being separated from government agencies. That's just kind of the iceberg in this thing. But again, I'm glad this is being addressed in a book.
Yeah.
That being said, the whole premise of this is Amazon is at a pool hole and is naturally approached by men trying to get with her. She goes far and decides to murder every man in that bar, whether they had anything to do with it or not. So naturally, the government's response is to make an anti-Amazon agency akin to ICE and go door to door, finding Amazons, dragging them apart from their families, and giving the permission to use deadly force if necessary. So we unfortunately do have to see a child watch her mother be gunned down in this issue. It's a little rough. I'm not going to lie. We also get to see Commander Steel, who has not been seen in quite a while, but this poor man, he's got such a hard job now.
Let's all go hand.
So they track Wonder Woman down into a graveyard. Wonder Woman has already renounced her allegiance from the Amazons by handing her sword back and letting one of the Amazons hand the swords off to the Queen. To Nubia, and pretty much just saying it's like, look, I can't be a part of you guys right now because I got to do my own thing. So I'm officially a free agent. They will get their own book. It's called Amazon's Attack. We hope to God it's not like the previous Amazon attacks. Please, dear God, do not let it be like the last ones.
You already know, but go ahead.
Yeah. So, Sergeant Steele finds Diana in the graveyard and sends a whole hit squad out. And the first thing you know, it's like, oh no, she's not a warrior. She's an artist. This is terrifying. And then calls her a word she does not like. And then she lets him know, I do not like this word. Do not call me this word. This word upsets me.
And yet he still says it.
And then she breaks a solid steel fist. And then we are introduced to the villain of this book, the King of America. And, well, like I said, guys, Wonder Woman does not have a wide rogues gallery. And while you think that this is propaganda, this probably calls back to those old 1960, 1970 Wonder Woman's villains more than anything, those one-shot villains.
Yeah.
So I read into it less than others because I just realized, like, okay, so that's where the Black Lasso comes from. And we now know we got the lasso of truth, the lasso of what is Donna's silver lasso? The lasso of honor or something, or valor?
Valor, I think it was.
Maybe. And now we know the Black Lasso of lies.
Because, yeah, the Black Lasso is basically, it's the dark. Long story short, Dark Lasso is basically pretty much the dark side of the lasso. While the golden one is supposed to induce truth, the dark one is supposed to introduce dishonesty or destruction. The silver one, I think, is the valor. I know I'm missing one. There's 4.
No, I think there's only 3 right now because Trinity has all 3 of them.
Yeah. I guess one was there. I'll look that up. Bob, sorry. Go ahead, Joe.
So yeah, so no, that's pretty much the book. It's a good start. We will start seeing Trinity soon, which this book will be split in between the future and the present. This was written by Tom King, and apparently I did a really poor job on some of this stuff. So my apologies, guys. I thought Tom King and I think it's Dan Sempier, but don't quote me on that. Like I say, guys, it's been a long week for me, and I didn't fully get everything out. But this is one of the big reads. I will definitely say this is a book that needs to be read. If anything, this is the book that needs to be read. And then jumping over into some things from this week, we got X-Men number 27, written by Jerry Dugan and art by Phil Noto. So, of course, for Joe, this is an automatic read because Phil Noto. Am I biased? Yes. Yes, I am. So we get to see what's going on with Cyclops. The big crux of this issue is Kate is skulking around to see who was arrested by Orchis. We find Juggernaut, and she finds Cyclops. So she hatches a plan with Juggernaut. The other side of this comic is the X-Men really need the Fantastic Four's help because the Fantastic Four know how to mask the X gene from people because that's how no one's messed with Franklin in this whole thing.
Pretty much.
How Roaches never come after Franklin, but Reed's done for Franklin, but Reed doesn't know how to do it because Charles took that knowledge from him, so he can't do that to anybody else that Reed would potentially want to make sure Charles can't get a hold of. So Ms. Marvel, Talon, Sync, and Rasputin 4 go see the Fantastic Four. Immediately, the thing gets punched out by Rasputin 4. Like, it's just the moment he puts his hand on her, it's like, lady, we don't know who you are, but punch. And then Johnny tries to fight her because Rasputin 4 is a chimera. She does have some telekinesis of Quentin Inquire, so he just puts Johnny to sleep. And then Reed comes out to the best line with Sue. It's like, someone's here because that was the sound of Ben being punched. And then Sue's like, yeah, you never get that sound. It sounds like a rock just being pelted against meat. So Rasputin 4 has absolutely no people skills and nearly gets into it with Reed and Sue, and that would not go well. But thankfully, Miss Marvel is there and calms everything down and helps Reed figure stuff out. So Reed's mind is filled back in, and Reed's like, oh, yeah, no, totally, I'll help you guys. What's going on with you guys sucks, and is definitely uncalled for. Charles is still a dick, but you guys are good, and you don't deserve what's happening to you. Again. So that's pretty much just the issue. So I enjoyed it. The Phil Noto art makes everything better for me. I love that once again, Miss Marvel is like the bright spot that needs thing. And it's just like, she needs to come back. I want to fight her more.
Oh, man.
And Donna's like, she needs to come back. I want to date her more.
Also,
Donnie has that weird mustache going on.
That's the true answer. The true answer is always not about the fighting, but the courting.
Mm-hmm. We also got Immortal X-Men, written by Kieran Gillen and Lucas Wernick, and colors by David Carell. So this is 2 parts again. So Sebastian Shaw and Celine are still trying to get on Krakoa, still trying to deal with Charles, and they are seeing a litter of bodies along the island. So naturally, because it's Sebastian Shaw, he also has an Iron Man armor. And Charles and me is like, oh, you're doing this because you really have nothing better to do with your time. Calls to Emma. It's like, Emma's like, hey, I'm dealing with these two. And Emma's like, oh, we're talking again, aren't we? How nice of you, Charles. I mean, it's Emma. Of course she's going to be petty.
I know she's going to be sarcastic, but still, damn.
But Emma sees this as a way to play two means against each other because right now, Fisk owns the Hellfire Club. Emma does not want this because she does not want to be in the back pocket of Wilson Fisk.
Of course.
So she happily gives all the access codes of 12 different high-level Hellfire Club member passwords and codes to Charles, who goes, you know, Sebastian, if you back off, I'll give you everything you need to take the Hellfire Club back from Fisk. And Sebastian looks at Celine. Oh no, Celine, look out. My armor's acting up. Charles got in. You were right. The sky blocks weren't enough. And then just picks up Celine's limp body. He's like, you know. And Charles goes like, by the way, if you screw me over, they will know it's you because I put a timer thing in that says, if you screw me over, they will come after you. So I was like, oh, we're good. We're good. By the way, the bodies are a nice touch. Even Celine squirmed, and it was Celine. And Charles like, I haven't killed anybody. So someone's on the island, probably Sabretooth.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, over in Eden, where all the other mutants are, Apocalypse shows up, and Hope finds Jean, who's currently going on about her book. She's trying to figure out where in her life went wrong that led to all this happening. But we find out where all the mutants are. So we're finally given a location. I'm not going to spoil that because that's a big, big spoiler. But we do get to see where they are. We do get to see where all the mutants are finally. And, oh, right. Destiny keeps telling everybody, do not trust Mother Righteous. And everyone's like, look, dude, she's a mutant. We need every mutant we got right here. We'll just keep a slightly closer eye on her because you're so certain about this. But, you know, we're not going to look too hard.
Right.
Because you also can't see anything.
But still.
And
how's my God?
No, that was pretty much it for the book. Again, that one. Big book. The only other book I will tell everybody you must buy aside from Wonder Woman. Transformers. This is hilariously fun. I've already shown pictures of 2 panels with Will. So, if you guys don't know who Daniel Warren Johnson is, we covered his book, Beta Ray Bill. Or as we call it, Beta Ray Bill's Very Bad Day. He is now principal writer of Transformers, which is now a shared universe in Skybound, with Josh Williamson writing the upcoming Duke and Cobra Commander books. They're also writing Void Rivals, which is happening in the Transformers universe. We've already saw in issue 4. Someone brought a Quintesson to Shockwave, of all things, on Cybertron, and Shockwave's like, the hell are you doing? Get that out of here. We don't want that on Cybertron. And it's a deep cut. It's that pig thing. It's that pig bounty hunter alien from like a single episode of Transformers season 4.
Oh, okay.
The one where it's like Octane and Sandstorm are trying to like hide Octane from being assassinated.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that one pig mercenary. So he's got a Quintesson and is trying to sell it to, of all people, Shockwave for money. And he's like, no, get that off of Cybertron.
It's so funny. I'm sorry.
So, And if you don't understand Shockwave, guys, let me just put it to you. There's Satan, and then there's Shockwave. Read the IDW books. You'll understand what I mean. But to this book, this is a full retelling of Transformers from Jump Street. We get our own Spike. We get our own Carly. They run into the Ark. Teletran Run starts activating things. Starscream immediately kills Bumblebee. That is not a spoiler. This happens like in the opening of the book. Yeah. What is a spoiler is we get to see Optimus Prime apparently is nimble enough to do not only a clothesline from hell, but a full German suplex. Or no, a full Northern Light suplex.
I was with you. I know exactly the part you're talking about. I was like, that's the full Northern Light suplex, sir.
And then he picks him up and then does the clothesline from hell.
Yeah.
The solo version.
I mean, it's with full intention, though.
So this is a very different one because we are only going to have a very limited amount of Autobots and a very limited amount of Decepticons because in this continuity, Optimus has to destroy Teletran 1 to keep because it is resurrecting bots at random and it has resurrected more Decepticons than Autobots. Mm-hmm. So as a result, Optimus Prime's like, yeah, I got to take you offline. Sorry.
Yeah.
And then the other Decepticons are just like, I think the only ones that are activated are Skywarp, Soundwave, and Starscream. Thundercrack was about to be resurrected, but then Optimus blows up stuff. And then that's our cast right now. We have a very limited cast of Autobots and Decepticons. And then Starscream just goes out and starts killing people.
But still, damn.
Awesome book. Definitely go read this. This does link into a larger world. Mm-hmm. So Void Rivals is the first step. From there, you get Transformers. In November, we're going to get 2 books. One is just called Duke, and one is called Cobra Commander, where it's Duke forming G.I. Joe with General Joe Colton and making G.I. Joe. The other one is Cobra Commander, where it's the origin of Cobra and how that leads in. Yeah. And then from there, we're going to get another book, I think in January, where it's just G.I. Joe. And then we'll have G.I. Joe and Transformers and then Void Rivals.
Okay.
So this is already being part of a bigger universe. Daniel Ward Johnson is doing both the story and the art. As you can tell, the art is nothing short of fantastic. Mike Spencer is doing the colors. Colors look amazing. Highly, highly recommended. So, again, from the 2 books in the past 3 weeks, Wonder Woman #1, Transformers #1. Also, Flash #1. We didn't cover it, but if you want to see what cosmic horror befalls Wally, that's one to do. Cosmic horror and Wally surprisingly go together very well. It's very interesting.
Nice.
But that's all I got. And shot is slowly taking effect. Sinus is clogging.
Oh, you're
forced to talk like Shatner. Rising.
Oh Lord. Well, you should always. It's a reminder to get code boosters definitely when you can. Joe, really thank you for the pulls this week. As we're getting toward the end, guys, Joe, you want to let people know what you'll be doing besides resting probably for the next 48 hours?
Rolling around on my couch and probably playing more Phantom Liberty. I don't plan to do anything but that tomorrow.
Are you streaming? Are you streaming, family? Are you streaming?
I'll probably go back to stream once I beat Phantom Liberty. Like, I keep meaning to stream. It's like, yeah, but Idris Elba needs me to do this thing over there, so I'm going to go do that.
Well, where can they find your Twitch page? Twitch server, Twitch's in previous streams.
Oof. Okay, there we go. There it is. Slowly, it takes hold of me. Joe Italian, last name on Twitch. Total Justice Gaming. At some point, I'll upload Aki fight videos once I get further along. Learning a new character is learning how to play the game all over again. So everything, I actually went back to Manon. I can still hold my own in gold rank 5 where I'm facing gold and diamond players just fine. But Aki, I'm having trouble with some silver players where I'm like, oh, I could shred you in an instant with Manon, but I actually got to really try with Aki.
I have to hurry up and get my PS5 so I can join the party on that.
You can join the party on PS4.
Yeah, but I'm it's starting to reach the end of life. Like I'm coming to that realization that PS4 is gonna. I mean, within the next 2, maybe 3 years, it's gonna be the end of life cycle for the PS4 anyway. So it's just best to go ahead and transition now while it's easy to do that. But no, I got to, because I got a list of PS5 games that is growing by the foot long that I really want to play.
If you don't have it within 2 months of Spider-Man being out, I'll be surprised, honestly.
Oh, I got it. Well,
if you do not get it at Christmas, I would be surprised.
From your lips to God's ears. With that being said,
that's not from my lips to my wallet.
Shameless plugging before we do get out of here, guys. I do want to definitely shout out Vaughn at Big BZA Dot. Of course, you can find him Big BZA Dot on all social media, where he does have a beat page where he does do beats. So if you're interested in beats, whether it's for a podcast, whether it's for your own music, things of that nature, definitely check him out, as they are for sale at Big BZA Dot. Also, guys, I did want to announce that I am also a part of Blurred Station. Now, Blurred Station, as we talked about, guys, with streaming services and things of that nature going out the window, Blurred Station is where you'll be able to see all the content that will never disappear. And it's only at $10 a month. And right now, if you go to blurredstation.com, you can actually be a part of their foundation franchise. What that basically means is, guys, after 36 months, you'll be able to own a part of blurredstation.com. Again, it's $10 a month. It's unbridled content that'll be growing by the boatload. And at the same time, guys, after 36 months, you'll be able to say that you own a piece of Blurred Station. And I don't know about you guys, but ownership is definitely the new move in 2023. And why not be a part of it? And like I said, $10. At this point, $10 looks pretty good for what Netflix, Hulu, and everybody else is doing to you. So again, definitely check them out at blurredstation.com. As for me, guys, you can usually find. I'm sorry, you saying something, Joe?
No, I was coughing again.
My bad. As for me, guys, you can find me BlackFox447 on all socials. I usually do reviews on everything that I read, that I watch, that I play, and also gym stuff, because I do believe in doing a couple push-ups. At the same time, guys, we are in the middle of con season. I have 3 simple rules for cons. Rule number 1, respect the cosplayer at all times. I cannot believe in 2023 I'm having to say this, because some people get a little bit too liberal with just treating individuals the way they think they can be treated. Again, treat people the way you want to be treated. Don't disrespect cosplayers, because again, it takes a lot of courage to go out there and something that you either bought or created and just simply have fun with it, because you definitely don't want them getting a guy like me to come find you and escort you off the premises. I will have way too much fun with that. Number 2, again, as long as deodorant, as long as soap and cologne and things of that nature are still out there for less than $2, wash your ass. You're coming to a con. Please be clean. Please, hygiene is priority. Please come clean and nice and things of that nature. Nobody wants to be around a smelly person that smells like expired meat and regret. Again, wash your ass. And of course, the third rule I have is, simply put, be kind. In this day and age, when you go to cons, you get a lot more flies with honey than vinegar. If you are nice, if you are kind, if you are polite, you will be surprised the things that people will do with you and for you. It's not just waiting to the last minute to go to vendors to get last minute deals on things. That can happen. That can happen depending on the vendor. But you can be kind. You can be nice. It will go a whole lot farther than being rude and being a dick. So simply put, don't be a dick. The link at the bottom, guys, I'll make that list a little bit bigger for you guys to see. If you copy and paste that link into your browser, we'll take you to our link tree. That's YouTube and Facebook groups for all of our podcasts. How the crap we got here, get bid, and of course, off on this podcast. Definitely like, definitely share, definitely subscribe. Let us know of everything that we discussed tonight. The only thing that we do have is keep the conversation clean. We can agree to disagree. We all have fans that we all care about, but we are not going to be toxic ass fans, which means that just because you may disagree with their opinion doesn't make them dumb or stupid or anything of that nature. This is not the Call of Duty chat rooms of 2001. That being said, guys, have clean conversations, have fun, meet people. That's the entire point of having those fandoms and having those conversations. And aside from that, guys, we will definitely be back here next Friday saying Get Bit Time, saying Get Bit Channel, of course, with news that falls throughout the week and any video games or impressions that we may have. Joe, any last words for we call tonight, sir, before the booster shot really takes you out?
Yeah. Yeah, it is October, so I will be in multiple places, maybe, depending on how things are going with me and whatnot, because work's always a thing for me. But if there is a Tennessee Ghostbuster event near you, come say hi. More than likely, I may be there. Most likely as an extreme Ghostbuster or as a Ghost Smasher, because my Ghostbuster suit is in need of repair. I got a snaggled zipper, and it's got to get fixed. So there is that. Plus, also, you can find us as soon as I can find all of our pin posts. I only pinned one thing. You pinned message. You can find us on now the iHeart Network podcast finder, the Castbox, Amazon Music, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Also, thank you to those listening to us on Spotify. We finally reached 10 listeners.
Hey, we're getting there. Progress.
It means that at least somebody likes our voices, or more than likely Will's voice. I know mine is borderline Jerry Lewis on the high-pitched volume, but without the annoyance or the alcohol abuse.
Jerry Lewis on high-pitched. Really? Oh, God. But thank you for those.
You play the Freakazoid clip?
You know what? I would, but I don't want Warner Bros. Coming for us. I'm like, they are quick to spam almost anybody these days. But again, thank you for those that do listen. We will be on Apple Podcasts soon enough because we're trying to branch out. We want you people to get to know. We want you people to get to know us. Get to talk to us. We're friendly most of the time. But again, like I said, and in closing, guys, we believe in fandoms. Whether it's Star Trek, Star Wars, Legos, Transformers, anime, manga, whatever it is, if you love it, it's a fandom. The only thing that we ask that you do is share it with others, because you never know who'll be interested in the same thing you are, and you might gain a friend out of it. That being said, guys, that's going to do it for this podcast tonight. Joe, anything else, sir, you got?
My couch needs me to roll around and suffer in agony, all for the sake of health.
I don't think it's the couch, sir. But anyway, he's been Joe. I've been Will. This has been the Get Bit Podcast tonight, guys. Thank you all for listening. And if you're listening to playback, we still want to know your comments on everything. Have a good night, guys. Peace.